You're listening to Airey Bros Radio. Be there or be square, because it's all killer, no filler.
There have been many outstanding wrestlers in the history of collegiate wrestling. Perhaps none more visible than the legendary Dan Gable, who went undefeated throughout his Iowa State career, only to lose his final collegiate match in the NCAA tournament his senior year. Now comes another Iowa State wrestler, senior Cael Sanderson of Heber City, Utah. Last season, Sanderson shattered Gable's Iowa State record of 100 consecutive victories and is now the NCAA record holder for consecutive wins with 123. Cael's career record now stands at a sparkling 158-0. 158-0. It's virtually unheard of. Even Muhammad Ali lost a fight, and Tiger Woods lost a tournament. With a victory today in the NCAA Finals, Cael Sanderson can achieve something never accomplished by Gable or the thousands of wrestlers who have preceded him. He can become the first collegiate wrestler ever to finish his career both undefeated and with 4 NCAA titles. Will Sanderson prevail? First, you must understand Cael's background and experience his past year's journey. A journey that puts him on the brink of college wrestling immortality.
Cael Sanderson, he was one of the most motivated little boys I had ever had in school. He had great self-esteem. Everything he did, it had to be done just right. And he wasn't satisfied with mediocre work. And as I remember him in first grade, he was the artist. He did an Abraham Lincoln picture that was beautifully done. He did a big pink pig named May. I would say he was an early perfectionist. He had a hard time understanding sometimes that his was the best, and it definitely was.
Cael's the kind of kid, he's had big goals since the day he was born. He was as big as Cody when he was 3 and Cody was 5 or 6. He always thought he should be doing things the same as Cody. So I think he picked up his level in everything. I mean, everything he did well.
Steve and Debbie Sanderson are the parents of 4 boys: Cody, Cole, Cael, and Kyler. They're a closely knit Mormon family who exude competitiveness and exemplify hard work and traditional values. Cody, Cole, and Cael were born within 3 years of one another and began wrestling at an early age.
I just remember getting thrown on my back and getting pinned. I don't know how old I was or anything. I know I didn't like it. I think that's probably why I still remember it.
I remember we used to get popsicles for wrestling. They don't give us popsicles anymore. Pretty soon popsicles turned into medals, and we liked that, so just kept going.
The 3 boys succeeded early and often. Their medal count grew, and so did their recognition. By 1990, they were featured nationally in Sports Illustrated for Kids. Steve was their youth and high school coach, while Debbie was their motivational mentor.
My dad really spent most of the time coaching us, but my mom, after she got involved, she really liked to step in there and take charge too once in a while.
My mom was always the fiery, want to beat up the other guy and the ref and everybody else, you know, that was against us kind of person. I think she gave us a little bit of a temper.
She put up with a lot from us. A lot of our intensity and just our competitiveness comes from her. You go to the match and, man, she's yelling. She's threatening me. I'm out there wrestling and I hear her threaten that if I don't get wrestling or something, or if I don't start working, I'm like, geez.
They just make that up, really. They pretend like it's probably because I could beat them all on the mats, and they knew it. So.
Yeah, she used to wrestle them. I think they all remember the day that they finally beat their mother.
Cael was pretty old before he could beat me.
He was always very coachable. He's very quiet and very reserved, and just has kind of the arrogance that a wrestler needs to perform well on the mat. But he's not a showboat. He has fun though. He's always having fun. When he was a little kid in junior high, he wrestled with a smile on his face, and in high school he'd be wrestling and he'd look over at me and his dad, and he'd smile at us.
In high school, Steve Sanderson's Wasatch Wasps dominated Utah wrestling, winning 5 straight team titles from 1993 through 1997.
When Cael was a freshman, I think that was the year we had 6 state champions in 3 seconds. The team that I had that year was probably the best high school team that I've ever seen. If they did a high school national championship, I think we could have won it. 12 of the kids that were on the teams for the 3 or 4 year period of time all went Division I wrestling. So, just good stuff.
The Sanderson boys were dominant in high school, with Cole winning 3 individual state titles and Cody and Cael each winning 4. Cael's success came to the beat of a different drummer.
Cael as a high school wrestler was a lot different than you think he would be. I thought he wasn't ever serious.
Always popping jokes. His dad used to get mad at him in particular. He used to threaten to kick him out of practices. He used to just make his dad so mad. His dad would just, get out of here, I'll deal with you later.
Cael, we couldn't get to drill at all. And I'd say, Cael, will you get over here and pay attention? And he'd just kind of wink at me, and then he'd go wrestle his match, and he'd do the very stuff that we were talking about, the stuff that we had drilled.
Heber City, Utah. Population 7,200, and Cael's hometown. Heber City will be put on the map when Cael goes off to college. Cincinnati, Ohio, and Xavier University, the setting for USA Wrestling's World Team Trials. A host of past and present U.S. international wrestling stars are on hand to witness the competition and to promote the upcoming World Championships in New York in the fall. It's an event which offers Cael a new challenge, freestyle wrestling, and a pivotal step toward fulfilling one of his life goals.
I want to win the world and then the Olympics. It's nice actually just to know that the work you put in is paying off, and it's nice to look and say, I won the tournament, I reached my goals. Every time I go out, I expect to win.
Expecting to win is a real interesting thing mentally, because if you have trained physically so that physiologically you've exerted every possible potential that there is, now you believe you deserve to win. And, the physical can impact on the mental.
Cael's victory elevates him onto center stage. He'll represent the United States in the World Championships at New York's Madison Square Garden in September.
Any questions? Okay, drill that a little bit. Let's go. 1, 2.
For many wrestlers, summertime also means camp time. All around the country, college coaches put on camps as a means to earn extra income and to promote their universities and expand their recruiting base. Undergraduate wrestlers can work as counselors to earn money, which Cael did at numerous camps, like the Dowling Wrestling Camp, directed by his brother Cody.
All right, run it in place. How I'm going to control him, I'm going to stay forehead to forehead, just like we were in our stance.
Over the summer, Cael worked camps in Kansas, Florida, Iowa, California, and in Utah, at his father's camp near Provo. The Sanderson Wrestling Camp, run by Steve, is an annual event and a chance for all 4 of the boys to be together. 15-year-old Kyler is a camper, while 25-year-old Cody, 23-year-old Cole, and 22-year-old Cael are counselors. Cael, of course, is the main attraction.
When I ride a guy, I want to stay up on my toes, and I want to drive my hips into him right here.
It's definitely nice to get the opportunity to help people, you know, and try and give back a little bit. I mean, if I didn't have so many people just giving me so much of their time and being willing to, you know, give up a lot of opportunities they have to spend time with me, that there's no way I would, you know, even, you know, be wrestling in college.
Take him right over the top.
I think a lot of it does come naturally, but he studies the game. Other kids have had to drill this stuff to make it permanent. Cael would watch it happen one time, and then away he goes. He can look at the thing, break it down, and use it.
Let's go, 5.
The thing that sets him aside from his brothers is his sense of humor. It's really dry, and you have to look him in the eye to see whether he's making a joke or not. So he's pretty funny. A lot of times you have to get on the inside, though, to see whether he's poking fun at you or whether he's laughing with you.
I don't know if they ever told you what he did to Coach Douglas when he decided to go to Iowa State. He calls him up and he says, "Coach Douglas, this is Cael Sanderson." He goes, "I've decided to go to Oklahoma State." And it got real quiet, and he goes, "Oh, did I say Oklahoma State? I meant Iowa State." Cody goes, "Cael, that's not funny. Coach could have had a heart attack over something like that."
He's a joker in a lot of ways, and that was one of his jokes that I really didn't appreciate until after he said he was coming.
2 years ago, Cody, Cole, and Cael Sanderson were all wrestling for Iowa State. One day they sat down for a television interview, and Cael's wit and dry humor were on display.
What did you get from Dad? Big chin? I hated wrestling. My dad made me wrestle. I wanted to play basketball. He's lying. He was terrible at basketball. Don't listen to him. Wrestling's about all he could do.
He's a goofy kid, you know, very sarcastic, very, very funny. And it's just a witty comments that kind of get you.
He's got a real good sense of humor. You know, a lot of people say shy, doesn't open up. Well, I've been with him a lot. He's not too quiet once you get to know him, and he's real goofy, but he's real fun to be around.
Ah, cry.
You're gonna cry, just like you did all day today.
Oh! This is a pretty nice reel, actually.
I don't know why I'm not catching some fish, dude.
You quit?
I don't quit. I gotta outfish you before I quit.
Cael's love for fishing is a key diversion in his life.
Yeah, it's definitely water.
It's a chance for him to relax and to compete with friends.
Huh? They keep jumping right behind you.
I think fishing gives you something to look forward to. I mean, I love wrestling, I love going to practice, but, you know, after 6 months of it, you know, straight and not really having any time off, it's nice to have something to look to. And I mean, all you're worried about is trying to hook a fish in the mouth. And I mean, there's not a lot of pressure with that or anything else. I mean, life's kind of crazy, so it's good to have things like fishing in there.
Ah!
We're kind of always in competition with each other a little bit.
How'd that happen? Good job, Nathan.
If someone doesn't catch the most fish one day, you know, you'll hear about it for like the next month. Till the next time you go fishing.
It's about a 2-pounder.
That's supposed to be George Washington, I think. And I remember it being a little better than this. Last time I saw it was quite a few years ago.
Cael may have been surprised to see his first-grade artwork again, but it's not surprising he's still practicing his craft. Majoring in art and design, he likes to both draw and paint.
There's not a lot of things that I'd rather do than draw. I mean, a lot of times it's hard to really settle down and, you know, take the time to set up and get paper and find something to draw, but when you're doing it, it's a good time, it's relaxing.
Not surprisingly, much of his art has a decidedly wrestling theme.
It's entertainment watching Coach Douglas on the side of the mat. He's just so intense. And I mean, that just makes him like real fun to draw.
He adds some of his own personality in there. Makes me look real mean.
I'm really looking forward to being able to get into art like I have been into wrestling. But I'd like to get into design or right now I'm kind of looking at advertising where I can use my artistic, skills a little bit. It's saying that, if I get out of wrestling, who knows, I might be in wrestling for a while.
In September, the world changed. The tragic events on 9/11 caused the World Championships in New York to be rescheduled for Bulgaria in late November, coinciding with the start of the collegiate wrestling season. Cael decided to forego his chance at the World Championship.
I mean, it's just extremely hard to turn down an opportunity to wrestle in the best tournament there is. I mean, I know there's a time and a place, and right now my place is with the Iowa State team. I think I need to be there with them and represent my university for one more season.
I respect Cael for his decision. I think it was, a gutsy decision. I don't think many people thought he would pass up a chance, but to wrestle in the World Championships. But he's got a lot of character. He says he's the team captain, and he doesn't want to let his teammates down, and that just shows a lot of loyalty. I have no doubt in my mind he'll be back in the World Championships next year.
On their side.
Next match, Woodley Millord from Orange County, New Jersey, Cael Sanderson from Utah.
At Iowa State, early November means wrestle-offs. And one Saturday, the public was invited to the ISU Wrestling Room to get a glimpse of the 2002 Cyclones.
Thanks for coming. Thanks a lot.
It was a day filled with sports, as fans and team members socialized at a wrestling tailgate party prior to the Iowa State-Kansas State football game.
Do you sign shirts or do you sign hats?
I can sign anything.
Can you? How about a shirt?
And for the unassuming Sanderson, the halftime presentation was yet another recognition ceremony for his considerable wrestling accomplishments.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Iowa State, three-time NCAA champion, U.S. champion, two-time academic All-American, undefeated Cael Sanderson.
Congratulations, Cael. Thank you. Well deserved.
The Hodge Trophy is wrestling's equivalent to the Heisman Trophy.
Hold it up for him.
Sanderson is the only person to win it twice.
Good job, all the way through. Good job, Roman. 3, 2, 1, get hot! Come on. You got short time, come on, man. Come on, get another one. Good job.
Welcome to early season two-a-days. Training and conditioning at 6:30 in the morning. Non-stop wrestling at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Basically, Cael doesn't really get tired. We have to challenge him a little bit more than some other guys. At the same time, it's difficult to challenge him from the simple fact that cardiovascularly, he's better than everybody else.
Cael is a very, very hard trainer. If you ever saw Cael run on that treadmill out there, he makes that treadmill cry. The bottom line is I think he knows that when it comes to the third period, this guy's going to be so tired he's not going to be able to stand up. And that's how he trains. He trains to win on conditioning. He trains to score points. And we want him to score points because that improves you technically.
Excellent.
The Cyclones are a new-look team, with 3 transfers from other schools and 2 redshirt freshmen in the starting lineup. Cael and All-American Joe Heskett are the team leaders.
Cael, he's just a phenom. It's inspirational, This is something you're going to look back on years down the road and be amazed about. Here's a guy that has done everything anybody could do, and that inspires me. That inspires me right now, and I think it inspires the younger guys right now.
With the season barely underway, Cael celebrates another accomplishment, in tandem with Kelly Kennard.
It's a diamond engagement ring. Very excited to have it. It's about time. Just kidding. He has an incredible drive to succeed. I know he works so hard, and I think it consumes him, and all he wants to do is to be better and better. He's never satisfied. Always wants ways to improve himself and to be a better wrestler.
Super intense, super focused, and super fast. If you looked into Cael's heart, you would find that he has an ingredient in there that few athletes have. He's competitive above and beyond the call of duty.
When I hear the glass break, I know it's time to go and it's time to get it on, I guess. I'm just trying to, keep my head clear and just, stay focused on the match. I try and stay relaxed and just try and go out there and wrestle hard. I usually try and get a hard match in as much as I can. Just for conditioning and for future matches, I try and wrestle hard for a while and score as many points as I can.
When he gets in what we call the zone, he's just a different person. His eyes change, his demeanor changes, and he's a different person than when he walks out on that mat. It's like going from Clark to Superman.
Explosive, sometimes methodically explosive. And when you look at a great wrestler, sometimes it looks that way. His innate ability to know where he's at all times is very impressive.
Very seldom is he not wrestling during a match. And when all of a sudden you take a breath of air, if you're an opponent, it seems like he's going to nail you.
Anybody who's thinking about being a great wrestler, has a dream of being a great wrestler, model yourself after that. This guy is aggressive when he doesn't need to be aggressive. Doesn't matter what the score is, he's trying to score more points.
If you're going to beat the guy, you got to wrestle 7 minutes, and you got to be flurrying, and you got to be fighting, and you got to be scrapping every second of that match, every second.
He's a goer, and I've yet to see him shut down. When that buzzer goes off in the third period, he's still trying to get a takedown, and that's a great quality to have.
Cael, he's a worker. He gets into situations, and I go, I ask him, how can you do that? That's not right. The things that he can do with his body.
Almost everything that you can do, they call it in wrestling, there's action and reaction. Cael Sanderson's wrestling is action on his side, and there's no reaction by the other side because he hits you at the knees and ankles.
He's got the type of style that is open for an upset. If he had a bad match, he could possibly go to his back. But in the long run, his style is going to be very dominating.
So dominant is Sanderson that 85% of his career wins have either been by pin, 15-point technical fall, or 8-point major decision. In his senior season, no one scored an offensive point, and only 2 matches went the distance, with Cael winning by 5 and 11 points over the nation's second-ranked wrestler. Cael's closest match came in his freshman year, a 1-point decision over West Virginia's Vertus Jones at the All-Star match.
I got greedy at the end. I went for a cradle when I was up by a takedown, and I almost gave up 2, with no time left. I would have lost that match, but that was by far my closest call, but I was still a freshman there, It didn't matter if I won or lost, so I wasn't worried about that.
Cael's arch rival was Daniel Cormier of Oklahoma State. They met numerous times over their freestyle and college careers, including the finals of the NCAA tournament in Cormier's senior season.
It's just real unorthodox, the way he wrestles. He moves so much that it makes it tough for guys to keep up. You got to keep moving your feet. You got to keep moving, because if you stop moving for 1 second, he's on you. He's on your legs trying to take you down.
I always felt like he was waiting for me to make a mistake, and I wrestled him nearly 10 times, so that's a lot of time where you can make a mistake that could, cost you the match.
I think it's good to have somebody like that. It brings more attention to the sport of wrestling. I think it helps the sport as a whole. But we want to beat him. The wrestlers want to beat him.
If I was a coach now, still coaching in college, I would utilize Cael Sanderson unbelievably to get motivated. To find somebody, to teach him, to coach him, to be able to beat him. Even if you didn't beat him, the kid that you were training would all of a sudden would have been right there because he was training for the best, and he was training at a level of expertise that would have had him beat everybody else.
Gable and Sanderson are linked by their success and share many attributes. Both are highly motivated and have low-key, humble personalities. They do not seek the limelight. It finds them. And like Gable 30 years ago, Cael is being thrust into the media spotlight for what he can attain in the sport.
He's a very humble individual, shuns the media, is uncomfortable in interviews, would rather have his teammates get the accolades. He does not want the attention that he's getting. Yet I had to tell him, you're the man. You know, you created this problem, which is a nice problem to have. And from a promotional point of view, couldn't find a better person to promote.
And Iowa State is taking full advantage of their wrestling star's popularity. You can find Cael's likeness on the team poster, on the promotional literature selling season tickets, on Cael Face Fans, and of course on the Cael Sanderson bobblehead doll.
Our biggest goals were to drive season tickets. We're very excited about this coming year, so we tied in our bobbleheads with, if you bought a season ticket, you got a free Sanderson bobblehead. We jumped our season tickets about 30–40%. My favorite reaction was Cael kind of shaking his head. He wasn't quite sure. He thought it was kind of a little goofy when he saw it.
I just don't worry about that stuff. You know, it's cool, and my parents will like it, and my grandma's gonna like it. But other than that, I mean, it's just something else.
Cael's popularity and record-breaking accomplishments are intertwining him in the history of two former Oklahoma State wrestling greats. Pat Smith, who is the only wrestler to win 4 individual NCAA titles, and Yohiro Yataki, who's the only wrestler to finish his career undefeated, going 58-0 with 3 NCAA titles.
If I had to rank wrestlers, Yojo would be the best I've ever seen. I never did see him tested. All the while that he wrestled here at Oklahoma State and then went into Olympic Games, he never was tested. The style between Cael and Yojo are a lot of us alike, and I think Cael's more of what I'd call reaching and changing. I mean, he's got length to him where Yojo was short. He'd pop in on you, change directions before you knew what happened. So it's a little different style in that area, but I mean, they all had basically sound fundamentals.
Winning 4 national titles, it's a dream come true, really. I don't mind sharing the title with anybody. You know, I can always say that I was the first 4-timer, and I think a lot of people like to see him win. I'd like to, obviously, I'd like to see our OSU guy win it and win the national title. And I think the country and the nation wants to see him win it.
It's just an opportunity, you know, that's all it is. It's not something I've already won. I haven't already done anything. I mean, I haven't already won it, then I have to go get it. You know, I have to want it, I have to do everything like I've done in the past, and I just have to, you know, want it more than the next guy.
Iowa State versus Wisconsin. For Cael, the day starts off like most 2 p.m. dual meets. At 11:30, he's at the lead center to check weight and loosen up. To add to the pressure, the Des Moines Register has printed a 2-page story proclaiming him not unbeaten, but unbeatable. But for Cael, it's just another day at the office. His routine is to work out with partner Austin Palmer.
It's a learning experience for me. One of your best coaches in the room is your drill partner. He has a natural gift, I guess, to find the right body positions, and he shares some of that with me, so it's definitely helpful.
At 12:45, he's off to Hilton Coliseum to weigh in and get ready for another opponent.
Other than Wisconsin, I haven't really had a chance of looking at tapes or anything. I don't tell Coach that, though.
Cael's at a new, heavier weight this season, 197 pounds.
Well, I could either drop down and worry about my weight the whole year, or I could just worry about getting stronger as the season goes on and just stay focused on what I've been doing my whole career, just trying to get better every day. It's not really a good time in my career to change what I've been doing. I mean, it's been working for me, and so I'll just stick with it, I guess.
40.6.
After the 1 p.m. weigh-in, the ISU locker room is loose, and Cael first learns of his opponent.
I had Jarrett Horton.
At 1:25, the Cyclones are on the mat for warm-ups and to check out the Badgers.
Let's check your hair and fingernails, guys. Just get everything.
1:45 p.m. It's back into the locker room. The referee makes the required medical checks.
Hair's taken care of.
It's 5 minutes to the start of the meet, and the mood has changed. It's focus time.
Amen. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Say!
Iowa State and Wisconsin are in an unexpected dogfight.
Hey! Hey!
Wins are important, and extra team points are critical. While a quick pin is great for the team, it often shortchanges Cael of his game day conditioning, so it's off for a run.
Coach kind of got me started doing that last year. You know, slip into a quick pin or something, then I'd still try and get the full workout. Because, I mean, if you get quick pins all year long, when it comes down to the national tournament, you're not going to be in the shape that you need to be when you get in a close match.
By 4 p.m., ISU survives the scare. It's Iowa State 24, Wisconsin 21, and another regular activity is underway.
Hi, buddy. Hey, bud. Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Panic attack.
Let's go, Cyclones.
Iowa versus Iowa State. The annual showdown between these longtime rivals, which for the past 27 meetings has gone the Hawkeyes' way. It's also a media frenzy. ESPN has 2 crews on site. One is taping a special program on Cael, and the state's print and electronic media are in full force.
This afternoon from Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa.
It's time for it to stop. You guys have to stop it. You're going to get a chance of a lifetime, chance to make history.
It just doesn't get any better than this in college wrestling. It's just that it's been kind of lopsided on one side, and that's the Hawkeye side.
21 taken.
A crowd of 10,000 is on hand, including the Sandersons, to watch Cael's last Iowa State go-round.
You may not get a better opportunity to pin than this. Nope. I don't think he wanted to pin him. No. Yeah.
Cael's victory gives the Cyclones a short-lived 12-9 lead, but in the final tally, it is the Hawkeyes who again strut their stuff, winning 4 of the last 5 matches, including the deciding last match.
There it is.
Big win for
Iowa
the Hawkeyes.
wins.
Keep the streak going.
21, 16, 28 straight victory for the Hawkeyes. It didn't come easy.
I was pretty upset after the Iowa match. We didn't wrestle well, and that's all there was to it. I mean, we could have won, but they showed up and they wrestled harder and they wanted it more, obviously, and they took it.
Despite his disappointment, Cael still has a throng of fans he needs to satisfy.
I mean, people come to the match, they come and support you, so you owe them that, you know.
The Sanderson family is a very devoted, religious, competitive, patriotic. They're the full house of what you look for in a wrestling family. They're not only committed to their kids, but they're also committed to the program that their kids are in.
That's all right. You can go job, Trent. We'll see you at the top, bud.
They're a focused family. And when you talk to others about the Sandersons, I've never heard anything negative about those guys. And I mean, that's very unusual.
Don't get hurt, anybody.
If I was to describe our relationship in one word, I would say friends. You know, we've always been great friends, you know, close to the same age and liked a lot of the same things. And we've just spent, you know, tons of time together. And that's just the way we still are today.
You crashed?
Wrong break.
I hit the wrong break and I flipped right over the top and went like 10 feet.
I think that a lot of times you get kind of a sibling rivalry in families where, you know, you'll try to outdo your
you know, other siblings, but we've never really been like that at all, you know. We've always kind of been just each other's biggest cheerleader.
Wrestling really takes a lot, you know. You need a lot of support, and they've always been there, and they've always, you know, done more than I could ever ask them to.
Team Sanderson is one way the family unites. Steve's limited partnership administers their camp, their website, and eventually their fundraising efforts to help support the boys' training for future competitions. Cael Sanderson is following in his brother's footsteps. He has already won several USA wrestling events and recently won the Utah State title as a freshman at Timpanogos High School, where Steve is his coach.
I just hope I can be that good someday. Hope I can be like him and my other brothers too. It's probably made me set my goals a little higher, trying to do what they've done. But it's helped me a lot, I think, because when they come home, they just show me what I need to be doing.
The Sandersons live in the heartland of the Mormon faith and are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, near the Great Salt Lake, settled by church leader and pioneer Brigham Young.
As we talk about the things that this valley becomes known for and has become known for, one would be the Hebrew Creeper, the steam engine train that runs up and down this valley floor. One would be Granny Shakes, and they're known all over the world. But probably our most famous export of human beings would be the Sandersons, especially Cael. We love to export excellence. The Sanderson family and the church have probably represented excellence in the finest way.
Their commitment to the LDS faith has been remarkable. Their impact as a family has had a great impact in the church and in our ward. Most people see Cael as a great wrestler, which he is, but wrestling is just a small part of Cael's greatness. His unconquerable spirit, his integrity, and his honesty are to me what makes Cael great.
I think that the main focus of the church is the family. It teaches a strong moral fiber so that the kids have something to fall back on if times are a little bit tough. I think that most of the LDS kids, the Mormon kids, have a strong work ethic. You know, I've had 2 or 3 college coaches come and tell me, you know, gosh, where do I get more Mormon kids?
Whatever his mother especially wants, he will do whatever it takes to do what his parents ask him to do. And that's a great quality for such a young man, to want to please his parents and be part of his family.
There's no way we could have done what we've done, or, you know, been here. I mean, she just sacrificed so much for us, and that's just the way she is. She just gives all the time.
As the year 2001 ends, there's a big change ahead for the Sandersons.
I got the shoe.
Cael Sanderson sets off on a church missionary trip to spread the gospel in Vladivostok, Russia. The family won't see him again for the next 2 years.
Chicago on to Columbus, Ohio.
Last one.
40 pass.
Life on the road. Like most college sports teams, the Iowa State wrestlers have a busy competition schedule, with road trips to New York, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Oklahoma, Illinois, and now Columbus, Ohio, for the national team duels. It's a prestigious event that features the nation's top teams and provides a mid-season barometer of how teams and individuals stack up. It's also a grueling format, as teams can wrestle from 4 to 6 meets over the 2-day tournament. The Cyclones weigh in at 7 a.m. Saturday morning, then start off a marathon day of competition.
Cael Sanderson trying for the fall down here on 2.
Iowa State beats Arizona State in the first round, loses to Oklahoma in the quarterfinals, then rebounds to beat Central Michigan in the next round. It's an exhausted and short-handed ISU team that takes on highly favored and second-ranked Oklahoma State in the nightcap. But Cael gets his 4th pin of the day, and the Cyclones pull off the upset 25-20. Mark Knauer's win at heavyweight seals the deal and gives Iowa State just its second win over Oklahoma State in the last 10 meetings.
Let's go. We got 1 hour, baby. Let's get it going. Get ready.
On Sunday morning, ISU takes on third-ranked Michigan, and the Cyclones are still on a roll. Cael pins Kyle Smith. And once again, it comes down to heavyweight, as the Cyclones top the Wolverines. Iowa State is now 4-1 in the tournament, but the run stops versus arch-rival Iowa. Cael wins on an injury default, but the Hawkeyes prevail 25-15 in Cael's last chance of his career for ISU to beat Iowa in a dual meet.
Thanks.
Nevertheless, the Cyclones, seeded 6th, finish in 4th place, and Cael, with 5 pins in 6 matches, wins yet another Outstanding Wrestler award at the National Team Duels.
I have a lot of things I like to do, more than I really have time for. I mean, I collect Pokemon cards, I collect a lot of different things like that. I like animals. I think turtles and ferrets are probably 2 of my favorite animals, and that's why I have them. I mean, I spend a lot of time trying to catch them.
Cael and his brother Cody have a fascination for ferrets. Together they have 6. Cael owns 2, Doug and Donald, and used to carry Doug with him to class and on airplanes when he went home to Utah.
He used to live in the dorms with me, and he had a dresser full of pizza and stuff. I mean, he didn't really eat very healthy growing for a while. Hopefully isn't part of his health problems right now, but he's doing pretty good. He's really nice. People really like Doug.
Russell.
Dogs Annie and Russell await. Cael lives with his brother Cody and sister-in-law Sarah in a house that is full of activity. Tonight, Cael's doing the cooking.
That's enough potatoes, Knucklehead.
My specialty's probably Subway chicken breast.
I can't cook to save my life. So Cael does it. But I do dishes sometimes.
No, she doesn't. But
Buying pizza.
She helps me cook a lot when I do cook once a week.
Off to school.
This is Cael Sanderson.
Cael's been invited to Edwards Elementary School in Ames to talk to 3 different classes.
When did you start wrestling?
Started wrestling in kindergarten, I think. So, Allison.
Today's goal was to have someone here as a good role model for our students, and Cael is an excellent example of that. And we also encourage our students to set goals for themselves and to work hard to achieve those. And again, Cael communicated that in all the classrooms.
A reversal's worth 2 points.
It's always fun to be around kids. Hopefully they had an all right time too. Most importantly though, you want to hopefully say something that'll help them out, do something positive for them.
Boys and girls, what can we say to Cael Sanderson for his
You're welcome.
With the day about wrapped up, Cael gets a last-minute request from the teachers.
But then, how do you win? Who wins?
Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa. Cael Sanderson's home for the past 5 years. After numerous Hilton victories, this duel against Nebraska is his final meet in front of the home crowd. It's senior night, and Cael is introduced last.
Accompanied today by brother Cody and his fiancée, Kelly Kennard, is the man who has set a new standard of on-mat excellence in collegiate wrestling with a grace that has truly transcended his sport. Cael Sanderson.
It's been a great experience. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot as a person, as a wrestler. Yeah, I was real lucky. My brothers and I as a family were real lucky to find Iowa State.
He's just an incredibly amazing and successful person. He seems to know just where he wants to be going.
he knows what he wants to do. And he's always just been really good at just, you know, going out there and getting things done that he knows that he wants to get done.
If Cael wins tonight, he'll set the Iowa State career wins record at 151. He's up against Justin Reese of Nebraska.
He's in. He's in quick. And he scores. Whoa! He's got the cradle. Oh my gosh, he's to him. He's got that tight.
I shouldn't really worry about Cael. He's got an incredible amount of courage. You know, man, it's just amazing how brave he is to be able to go out every time and perform every time.
There's a beautiful ankle knee. No counter.
I tell you what, he's earned everything he's got, and I think he's nothing but great for the sport. I don't know anybody that doesn't like him. Never heard a bad word about him. He's got a chance to be a 4-time outstanding wrestler. I mean, that's domination. That's complete domination.
He wants to be world Olympic champion. And when I say world, I'm not talking about 1 or 2. I think he wants to dominate the world like he's dominated college wrestling.
There it is. Just a quick finish shot, and that's it.
Cael Sanderson, never been beat yet in his 4-year career. Iowa State's winningest wrestler, 151 wins.
He is the right kind of athlete. He reacts the right way. No showmanship. Just get the job done. When he wins with dignity. He wins with humility.
Congratulations.
Iowa State wins the duel, then sends Cael back on the mat for a recognition ceremony. Former ISU career wins leader Mike Land is on hand.
Congratulations, Cael.
And Cael receives a personalized robe to mark the occasion and tell the crowd goodbye.
I don't even know what to say. I love being here. I love being wrestling here. You guys are great fans. And one last thing, sorry. I was thinking as soon as they told me I had to come out here and talk, all I could remember was that my freshman year, my goal was pretty much not to get pinned.
One of the reasons why I like Cael Sanderson is because he's humble. He's just the kind of guy that you can attach to because he's not extraordinarily cocky. Everybody can attach to him, you know.
It's hard not to smile when you come out and you see all you people out here supporting us. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
It's the last chance to get Cael's autograph, and the line goes halfway around Hilton Coliseum.
Hey, what's up?
Cael signs until the last person has gone.
It's important for us to have heroes in our sport. He's a spokesman that you'd like to have your son to grow up to be like, and what wrestling contributes to that type of person. So I think he's got all kind of opportunity. I think he is our next big spokesman to really help our sport.
Albany, New York. It's the NCAA tournament, and Cael is now front page news. The nation's news media converge on the man of the hour the day before the tournament begins. It's reminiscent of the pre-meet hoopla that preceded Dan Gable's loss in his final tournament 32 years ago.
I don't think that Cael has thought about Dan Gable's situation at all. Cael is Cael. What you see is what you get.
Iowa State is taking no chances with Cael. After today, they will shield him from all media interviews for the duration of the tournament, other than the NCAA-required press briefings.
Welcome to the 2002 Division I NCAA Wrestling Championships.
The championships are underway. Over 330 wrestlers representing 79 schools are competing. Iowa State has 7 qualifiers, and their team has high expectations. The Sanderson clan is here in full force, including Cole, whose church mission in Russia was cut short by medical problems. Steve is taking photos for the Provo newspaper, and the rest of the Sandersons, plus 120 Utah fans, are perched high in the stands with the Cyclone faithful.
Keep your feet moving.
It's Cael's first match, and the media barrage has begun. Reporters from ESPN, Sports Illustrated, and Esquire are here to cover Cael. And the NCAA has issued over 200 media credentials.
Back points! Back points! Get it! Get it! It's over. You signed the box sheet, I'll get him out of here.
After Cael gets the pin, brother Cody provides him with an escape route. It's deja vu in Cael's second match.
Good job, Cael, good job. Now he's got it.
He gets another pin. After the first day's competition, ISU is in 5th place in the all-important team race. On day 2, Iowa State gets on a roll. Of the 5 Cyclone quarterfinalists, 3 win their matches. Aaron Holker beats UNI's Dylan Long. Then Joe Heskett takes out Oklahoma's Robbie Waller.
Ready?
It's a focused, reclusive, and more pressured Cael Sanderson, who takes on Jason Payne of Northern Iowa.
5! Come on, come on! Good. You need to fall from your feet.
Cael unleashes a tidal wave of points to score the 15-point technical fall.
It's intense. You have to be focused on what you're doing. You got to stay in position the whole time. You got to be aggressive. If you just go out there and you sit around, and you just try to dance around, he's gonna take it to you.
In the semifinals, Iowa State kicks into high gear. Holker gets a last-second victory over top-ranked Mark Conley of Navy. And Heskett pins Mark Fee of Appalachian State. Cael is pitted against 4th-ranked Nick Preston of Ohio State.
Come on, Cael! Come on, Cael, pick it up. Let's go, bud. There you go. Nice.
Sanderson's 18-7 victory is just his 3rd match all season that goes the distance. The other 2 were against 2nd-ranked John Trenge of Lehigh, who Cael will meet in the finals.
Do I expect to win it? I expect to leave everything I have out on the mat, and I expect to be fully content with my performance afterwards. If I win it, I win it. If not, hey, I got 2 more years.
But he's a stud, so he can do about whatever he wants. He's going to be a tough opponent, real tough.
At the end of day 2, Iowa State's team is in 4th place.
Well, you're looking at a pretty happy Cyclone wrestling coach. We have 3 in the finals. It's been a long time since that's happened.
The scene is set. History could be in the making. Cael's teammates light the fuse. Aaron Holker wins the national title at 141 pounds over Eric Larkin of Arizona State. Then Joe Heskett claims the 165-pound national crown over Matt Lackey of Illinois. A win by Cael will give Iowa State a remarkable 2nd-place team finish. A national television audience and the eyes of the wrestling community are intensely focused on Cael Sanderson.
For the NCAA National Championship at 197 pounds, Cael Sanderson trying to make history in the red singlet from Iowa State.
There's no denying Sanderson. He gets on the board first. He may get back points. He does have back points. What a way to go out with a fall. What a way to go out in a collegiate season. Gable said it best. Cael has brought to wrestling a whole new tactical and technical area. He is something new. He is an evolution.
Undefeated, potentially. There goes Sanderson. Look at the speed. Shooting low, going for the ankles. Up Trenge from Lehigh. the first man in the history of athletic competition to go undefeated, never a loss. 159 wins, no losses. 4 consecutive national championships. Cael Sanderson from Iowa State University.
Express to our fans, what do you think makes you different from all the other wrestlers here?
Just a lot of luck and just having the support from my family and the competitiveness we had growing up, and just everything. It's just all about family.
Enjoy these images and appreciate the dedication and effort it took to achieve this extraordinary accomplishment. They are the images of Cael Sanderson and are a portrait of a champion.
Funding for Cael Sanderson, Portrait of a Champion, has been provided in part by Friends of Iowa Public Television. By ASICS, equipment sponsor of collegiate wrestling teams at Minnesota, Iowa State, Oklahoma, and the University of Iowa, and equipment sponsor for USA Wrestling, USA National Freestyle, Greco-Roman, and women's teams since 1980. And by Cliff Keen Athletic, delivering the sport and culture of wrestling through products and communications. Cliff Keen Athletic, outfitting passion.
Thanks for watching this special program with Cael Sanderson, and thanks for supporting Iowa Public Television. Revenues generated by the sale of this tape and other IPTV tapes go to support IPTV's college wrestling programming. Your financial assistance is needed if we're able to continue to produce these expensive yet valuable programs. Here's how you can help. You can support Iowa Public Television by purchasing our tapes or by becoming a college wrestling supporter. You'll receive wonderful thank you gifts for your investment, and you'll feel good that you're supporting this valuable service for wrestling fans. Go to our website for details at www.collegewrestling.iptv.org. That's www.collegewrestling.iptv.org. Or order tapes by phone at 1-800-873-2730. That's 1-800-873-2730. Thanks for supporting Iowa Public Television, a resource for wrestling's future.